Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyim, Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah Malak Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Habayah Shah Malak Dawadah, the house of King David. And to the confusion of faces that look like these heathen nations, but their identity goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Okay, so I'm going to discuss this topic about the strange woman and how you should avoid the strange woman at all costs and always seek wisdom, which is this truth, and now which is knowledge and understanding of this truth. So it says right here in Proverbs 2, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for his treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of Adonai, and find the knowledge of Yahweh. For the Adonai giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. Yep. You know how like a seat belt is like you know how you buckle a seat belt and it keeps you like safe? That's how knowledge and wisdom keeps you safe. He keepeth the path of judgments and preserve the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good and path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. And this, 11 to verse 11 to 15 is, that mostly talks about Esau. It could apply to him because he is responsible for giving all these false ideologies and these false philosophies, even from the Garden of Eden, where he gave it to Eve, that serpent, which is, tying back to Esau. So let me start at let me do verse 12 again. Let me just say it one more time. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things, who leave the paths of the uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they are forward in their paths. That sounds like the so-called white man, Esau, to me. So, and it says right here, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. So yeah, that's mostly talking about what you call it. Now the strange woman is talking about like these churches, you taking all the false philosophies and false ideologies of these heathens, you know, because our people are really taught in the churches that you're supposed to love all your enemies outside your people. You're supposed to love your enemies, which are the heathens, and you're supposed to love the wicked of your people. And you're really not even supposed to love like these heathen nations, which is these so-called white people, Japanese, Chinese, these are the heathens, African, Hamites. You're not supposed to love any of them. You're only supposed to love your people that come from the 12 tribes of Israel, the ones that are oppressed. Because here you have it where these heathens don't give a two damns about our people, and they look at you like you ain't shit, and they don't even care about you and your communities. They may come around, give you a smile in your face and say hello, maybe in a public place or whatever, but they don't give a damn of how you living. That's how it is. And it says right here in Proverbs 3, it says, happy is the man that found the wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding, for the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge The depths are broken up and the clouds drop down dew. Yeah, wisdom is really, it's precious and beautiful. And that's what King Solomon said when he wrote Proverbs, which is the son of King David. He taught me also and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments and live. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Yep. And how you get the understanding is through the men of the Lord from GMS that teach you, this truth. It says in verse 19, the way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not that what they stumble. And that's talking about, this verse right here is talking about, the wicked is following the ways of these false philosophies and false ideologies. That's wickedness because it goes against, the commandments of men goes against the commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And with that, you have no type of wisdom. Proverbs 5 and verse 3 says, For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to hell, to death, Salakia. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable that thou canst not know them. So yeah, you're not gonna really see that the strange woman, she's gonna come into you as she's sweet like honey, but in the end she's gonna she's gonna harm you, because when you take in all these false philosophies or false ideologies, you're going against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and his wisdom. That's why you have a lot of our women, they're, since they took on that serpent ideology from the Garden of Eden, starting with Eve, they're following, they're doing the same thing today, following Esau's ways. When Esau, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, tells, our woman that they could do whatever they want, and it's via the government because they receive all these benefits from the government, and the government allows women to be single, independent, and to be feminist. And you best believe when you see Eve being a feminist, she sees that the heathen woman could do it, which is the so-called, woman of the other nations like Edomites, Hamites, and all these other women of the other nations. When she see that they could do it, you best believe Eve is gonna do it too. And that's how they act. And now they're so independent, they act like they don't need a man, and they're so liberated. And every time when you try to tell them the natural order, how the Bible works, they look at you like you're trying to oppress them because they're taking on the ideologies of a serpent. But in fact, they don't understand that they're the ones that are oppressed for trying to go against the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's ways is the natural remedy, but they don't look at it like that. Because Esau has fucked up their minds with all these false philosophies. And that's the same thing with the churches, with the Christianity. This new age Christianity, is tying in with the new age feminism, having women speaking in the church, and women are not supposed to do that shit. And it says, and why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman? In verse 20, and embrace the bosom of a stranger. For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he pondereth all his goings. His own iniquity shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sin. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. So yeah, he's gonna go astray from this truth if he don't gain the knowledge and understanding and the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You gotta seek that. And it says, Proverbs 6 and 9, How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shalt thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh his eyes, he speaketh with his with a Wait, Salakia. Um, okay, let me just finish it. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, and he teacheth with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually, he soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly, shall he be broken without remedy. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen when you go against, this truth, and you take on the that strange woman. And it says right here, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Verse 23. Verse 24, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, which is talking about the mind. The heart is your mind. Neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and adulteress will hunt for the precious life. That could apply to like you that could also apply to like not lusting after, these hoes and all that other shit. But it also means that you're not supposed to go after the strange, false philosophies, which is that strange woman. That's how the Most High looks at it. He looks at the false philosophies as a strange woman. And it says, let me start at verse 4. It says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him with the attire of a harlot, a subtle of heart. Let me start at um. All right, let me just read this. She is loud and stubborn; her feet abide not in a house. Now she is without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. And I perfume my bed with myrrh and aloes and cinnamon. And you know how when you go in these churches, you see that that's what they do. They deck their house, they deck the churches with, having it looking immaculate, nice and clean, which is not really, bad, but it's just that like it's just the evil doctrines that they teach within the church, that how they have a way to like influence people with the nice decorations, the nice designings, the nice carpet floor, making it look all, um, making the church, the interior look all like embellished with, nice carved woodworks and uh, decorations to, making it smell like nice and look very appealing to like, to have people just coming in there, and it's mostly filled with women, and they're taking on all these false doctrines and false ideologies, and you have that pastor pork chop, you know, 501c3 lobster eating bastard pastor teaching all these false doctrines, false ideologies, having these, and then pointing out to sisters in the church to have them to speak. And you see a lot of these women in the churches, they tell you how women are not supposed to speak in the church, right? And they go around speaking, and they don't even look at that scripture, and they over here eating all these abominable foods, and they're over here, uh what else they do, they will gossip as well, and it tells you not to gossip. So they do everything contrary to what the Bible tells them to not do, and what it tells them to do, they go against that. And it says, with her much fair speech she caused him to yield, with flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. And then an ox is a dumb animal, so that's how, you're dumb if you go follow these false philosophies, false doctrines, because you're walking into the paths of death. Till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteneth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Verse 25. Let not thy heart decline to Her ways go not astray in her path, for she have cast down many wounded, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. And that's that strange woman. That could also apply. Verse 25 and 27 could also apply to how women nowadays, they how men have been killed by these women, these wicked women, and that's true. That could apply to that too, but in this case, I'm mostly talking about the strange woman. That's why it says in Proverbs 8, verse 11. Let me start at verse 10. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not compared to it. So yeah, wisdom is gonna really benefit you in life. It benefits you more than gold and silver, because all that is just material, and all that could go away. And it says in Ephesians, let me see, 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. You see, that's talking about the false doctrines. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach. So yeah, teaching in this truth is like that's the head of Hamashiach Yahushai, teaching this truth and understanding. That's why it says in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and 12, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yes, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. She preventeth them that desire her, and making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for she shall find her sitting at his doors. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth her for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as worthy of her, sheweth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon God, and spirit of wisdom came to me. This is how Solomon got his spirit of wisdom. Solomon and Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 7. Now it's verse 8. I prefer her before scepters and thrones, and esteem riches nothing in comparison of her. Neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as little as a sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light. For the light that cometh from her never goeth out. All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. And I rejoice in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, and I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently to communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches, for she is a treasure unto men, and that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of Yahweh, being commanded for the gifts that came from learning. Yeah. And it says, verse 15, God hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meeting, for the things that are given to me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom, and directeth the wise. So yeah, wisdom is really it's really a powerful thing. It's more, it's wealthier than riches, and wealthier than any type of luxury you could ever think of. Riches could go away, but wisdom could never go away. Riches you could get riches stolen from you, but wisdom, you can never get that stolen from you. Because once you have the wisdom and knowledge, understanding this truth, you know, that's everything. Let me see, verse 14 and 4. It says, these are they which were not defiled with woman, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. These were the redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. And then virgins is like, not being defiled with the the scriptures talking about not being defiled with the false philosophies with that strange woman, you know. So, like I said, this Bible is like it has patterns where it connects you to like certain scriptures that, it says it in different chapters that the same idea, it will be just in different chapters and you just have to find it. That's how the Bible is. That's why I made that other video saying that, the Bible, it's Most High, he comes to the full volume of the book. That's why this book is really important. And Sophia, I'm going to show you the definition behind her name. So yeah, Sophia actually means wisdom, word full of intelligence, use of knowledge of very diverse matters, the wisdom which belongs to men. This is what King Solomon was talking about. He was talking about like when it's coming to wisdom, that belongs to to men of the Lord and stuff like that, and you should always seek it, and you always got to be loyal to that wisdom. You can't be dealing with that other strange woman, which is the false doctrines or the false philosophies, which is given unto these heathens. That's basically what it is. Hope I made that lesson edifying. I'd like to give all glory and honor to Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah Malak Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to hopeful elect. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, Shalak Rayam El Ka Alawam Yam, Wako Ayam, Shalom.